The story I read was A Case of Identity, written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It was first published in the UK Strand magazine in September 1891, and then it hit the US a month later in October. In it, it had 17 beautiful illustrations by Sidney Paget. The story takes place in London, where we have the detective Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson on Baker Street discussing one of the royal cases that Holmes had just figured out. And he was telling Watson how he really enjoyed the smaller cases and how intriguing they were. And so a woman appears at the door after she knocks, of course, and she's dressed up very lovely. And she comes in to express her grief and sadness because her fiance has disappeared. So she is telling them the details, and Sherlock is very intrigued, which kind of surprised Watson because he thought this would be kind of trivial for him, but he's intrigued and he's listening with great intention of the story that is being told by this woman. When the woman leaves, Miss Mary Sutherland, Holmes and Watson discuss the case, and Holmes asks Watson to do a little deducing, and he's pleased with his friend's observation, but goes even further to elaborate. He sees a few things that really stuck out. One was the fact that she had a crease in her gloves, showing that she was a typist. She had a pinch in her nose that she was wearing. She was nearsighted, and that her shoes were not the same, so we know she was in a rush. And there was also some ink on her glove, another indication that she wrote a note and she left in a rush. We also find out that she has an inheritance of £100 a year, which is shared with her family while she is staying with them. Her family is her mom and a stepfather who is 15 years younger than her mom. Even though this is a small case, Holmes is intrigued. He decides to take the case, and he realizes very quickly on that what happened. The reader does not know till the end, but he figures it out. He realizes that the stepfather was in disguise and fooled this girl, and the mother was in on it so that they can continue to receive the £100. Sherlock Holmes is a master of disguise, so this was very clear for him to indicate. I believe the audience is the general public of England. The stories first appeared in the Strand magazine, which did short story pieces, and general interest stories. So Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was first published there, and with the help of some fantastic illustrations by Sidney Paget, got Holmes going. The images of the deerstalker hat, the cape, and often smoking a pipe was what made this thing fly. The circulation was 300,000 when it first started in 1891, and people were thrilled and excited to get the next copy. Before long, the circulation was getting to about 500,000, and it was reaching the US. It was a big hit. Even Agatha Christie stories were in it. The vocabulary was very interesting to me. A passage that really stood out was this: "If we could fly out that window, hand in hand, hover over this great city, gently remove the roofs and peep in at the queer things which are going on, the strange coincidences, the plannings, the cross purposes, the wonderful chains of event, working through the generations and leading to the most outre results, it would make all fiction, with its conventionalities and foreseen conclusions, most stale and unprofitable." I actually had to look up the word outre, which means bizarre, and knowing by Holmes using that with Watson, we see that they are both on equal terms in their education. The author implies that Watson and Holmes both speak French by the use of outre, and as well as affaire de cœur, which is sprinkled in the story as well. My gut reaction